Hey class, today we're going to talk about factoring polynomials. So some of this will be a review of factoring, but we're going to factor not just quadratic polynomials, but also some cubic polynomials in this unit and some quartic polynomials as well. So just to start out, remember that we have the general ones. So a common monomial factor means that if you have like 8x plus 16, means you can factor out a monomial, a single item. So this one, they're both divisible by 8. So you can factor out the 8 goes out front and you'd be left with x plus 2. And then that's as far as it goes. Remember difference of perfect squares, like x squared minus 9 factors to x plus 3 and x minus 3. We also had the perfect square trinomials. That's where the first and the last are perfect squares. So to make x squared, it's x times x, and to get 9, it's 3 times 3. Since it adds up to positive 6, it would be positive 3 and positive 3. Or it's x plus 3 squared. So that's a perfect square trinomial. And then we also have the general trinomial, where for this one, you wanted to find factors of 6 that add up to 5, which would be 2 times 3. So x squared is x times x, and then positive 2 times positive 3 multiplies to 6 and adds up to 5. So that's just our general quadratic trinomial. So we can use that general trinomial idea to factor quartic trinomials as well. So just like in standard factoring, check to make sure that there's not a greatest common factor. And then let's try to factor it. You can use a box as well. So setting it up, x to the 4th would go in the first spot, negative 24 in the last spot. And then it is 1x to the 4th, so 1 times negative 24 is just negative 24. And then I need to multiplies to negative 24, adds up to 5. So multiplies to negative 24 and adds up to 5 would be positive 8 and negative 3. Since it is a 5x squared, then this is going to be an 8x squared and a negative 3x squared, because together those make the 5x squared. So that's the difference between the quadratic and the quartic. Instead of x squared, we have x to the 4th. And then instead of the middle adding up to just an x term, the middle is adding up to an x squared term. But you do the same thing. So now you find, the greatest common factor. These two in this row are both divisible by an x squared. So we do x squared. Then x squared times x squared gives me x to the 4th. Then x squared times 8 gives me 8x squared, and x squared times negative 3 gives me negative 3x squared, and then negative 3 times 8 is negative 24. So this factors to x squared plus 8 and x squared minus 3. Since we are factoring with squares, I would want to check just to make sure this didn't go any further. Since 3 is not a perfect square, neither is 8, then it's not going to factor further. Okay, so for 2x to the 4th minus 18x squared, I notice right away that they're both divisible by 2, and I can take out an x squared. So if I divide them both by 2x squared, I'm going to be left with x squared. So x to the 4th divided by x squared is x squared, and the 2's cancel. And then negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9, and x squared divided by x squared cancels. So there we are. Now this time what I'm left with, x squared minus 9, does factor more because those are difference of perfect squares. Because I can find something that multiplies to 9 and adds up to the 0 in the middle, it's negative 3 and positive 3. So it'll factor further to 2x squared times x plus 3 and x minus 3. And then that's as far as it goes. So those are new, but you factor them the same way you would before when it was quadratics. So use the same rules. Just your exponents become a little different because it's quartic instead. This is new. So we're going to use this formula. So this is the difference of perfect cubes. So first, perfect cubes are like 1 cubed is 1, 2 cubed is 8, 3 cubed is 27, 4 cubed would be 16 times 4 would be 64, 5 cubed is 125, 6 cubed I think is 216, I think, but I better check that. 6 cubed is 216. I think that's as large as I ever go with these, but 7 cubed, we'll put that 343. So if you see any of these perfect cube numbers and you're subtracting like a cubed minus b cubed, then you can factor it using this formula. So it becomes a cubed minus b cubed becomes the product of a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So this is how this is going to work. So 64x cubed is the same thing as 4x cubed. And then minus, and then 8 is the same thing as 2 cubed. So now I can identify my a is going to equal 4x and my b equals 2. So then I have, essentially I have this, a cubed and b cubed. So I'm going to plug in 4x for a, and I'm going to plug in 2 for b into my formula. So plugging that in, the first one is a minus b, so it'll be 4x minus 2. And then parentheses, a squared, so it'll be 4x squared, then plus a times b, so it'll be 4x times 2, and then plus b squared, so 2 squared. So then simplifying that, 4x minus 2, and then 4x squared, you have to square both. So it's 4x times 4x would be 16x squared, plus 4x times 2 would be 8x, plus 2 squared would be 4. Now, if it is difference of perfect cubes or sum of perfect cubes, this is as far as it factors. It will not factor any further. So the trinomial does not factor. Even though it looks like a perfect square trinomial, the middle term would have to be, in order for this to be a perfect square, this 8x would actually have to be 16x. So because you only have one AB and not two ABs, it won't factor any further. So that is the answer for that. So let's do one more, difference of perfect cubes. So identifying A and B first. So 8y cubed, 8 is the same thing as 2 cubed, and then, so my A value will be 2y. So A cubed is 2y cubed is 8y cubed. So A is 2y. And then minus, and then 27 is the same thing as 3 cubed. So B will be 3. So A in this one is 2y and B is 3. And then I'm going to use this formula. So first it is A minus B. So that'll be 2y minus 3. And then times A squared. So it'll be 2y squared plus AB. So plus 2y times 3 plus B squared, which is 3 squared. So simplifying that, it'll be 2y minus 3 times 2y squared is 2y times 2y, so 4y squared. 2y times 3 is 6y, and 3 squared is 9. So there we are. Sum of perfect cubes works very similar except for, and it's almost the same equation, except for that it's a plus b, and then a squared minus ab plus b squared. So the formula that you use is just a little different. So we'll compare the two, and hopefully that'll help you memorize them eventually, but practicing using them. So 8x cubed, if I rewrote this, breaking it down, 8x cubed would be the same thing as 2x cubed, and then 27 would be the same thing as 3 cubed. So if I'm looking for my a and my b, a is going to be 2x and b is going to be 3. Then plugging in, substituting in a and b into this equation. So a plus b would be 2x plus 3. Then a squared would be 2x squared minus a times b, so 2x times 3, and then plus b squared, which would be plus 3 squared. So my final answer here would be 2x plus 3, then 2x squared would be 4x squared, minus 2x times 3 would be 6x, and 3 squared would be 9. And this is how that factors. So doing one more, 27 and 125 are perfect cubes. X is a perfect cube. 27x cubed is the same thing as 3x cubed. And plus 125 is the same thing as 5 cubed. So that means that my a value is 3x and your b value is 5. So then plugging it into the formula, a plus b would be 3x plus 5. And then 3x squared minus a times b, 3x times 5, and then plus 5 squared. So 3x plus 5, 3x squared would be 9x squared, minus 3x times 5 would be 15x, and 5 squared would be 25. Okay. These I have as try on your own. So if you want to give this a shot, I plan to talk about these when we get back to class. So you don't have to turn it in anywhere, but give it a try. Notice the similarities in the equations. A cubed minus b cubed, minus starts with the minus and then 2 positive. So it goes a minus b, then a squared plus ab plus b squared. Then if it is a cubed plus b cubed, then it starts with a plus, then has 1 minus, and then a plus. So they're very similar equations and formulas that you use. The difference is where the subtraction sign goes. So if it's a cubed minus b cubed, the subtraction sign goes first, and then positive, positive. If it's a cubed plus b cubed, then it starts with a positive, then minus, then positive, then plus. So that helps me remember it. Again, we'll go through these examples in class if we have questions, and we'll go from there. So good luck.